The signal. Dr. Elena Reyes stifled a yawn as she scanned the monitoring systems at Proxima Observatory. The midnight shift was always the quietest, which was exactly why she preferred it. The vast radio telescope array embedded in the lunar surface gave humanity its clearest view of the cosmos, free from Earth's atmospheric interference. Most nights were routine, documenting background radiation, cataloging stellar anomalies, and occasionally discovering a new pulsar. "Coffee, Dr. Reyes?" asked Haruto, her assistant for the night, holding out a steaming cup. "Thanks," she said, taking it gratefully. "Anything interesting on the deep space feeds?" "Just the usual cosmic background noise." Another quiet. A sharp tone interrupted him. Elena's console flashed with an alert. "Anomalous signal detected. Unknown origin." "Spoke too soon," Elena muttered, setting her coffee aside. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, isolating the signal. "It's weak but structured, definitely artificial." Haruto leaned closer. "Extraterrestrial." "Let's not jump to conclusions," Elena cautioned, though her heart raced at the possibility. "Run it through the identification protocols." The observatory's quantum computers processed the signal, comparing it against known patterns. After 30 seconds, a response appeared. Signal pattern match, 78.6% correlation with Pathfinder 7 transmission protocol. Elena froze. "That can't be right." Pathfinder 7. Haruto's eyes widened. "The lost probe." "But that's impossible." Pathfinder 7 had been humanity's most ambitious deep space mission, launched 75 years ago. Equipped with experimental quantum entanglement communications, it was meant to explore the Ta-City system. 6 months after launch, the probe went silent. After years of failed reestablishment attempts, the mission was declared a failure, a painful setback for humanity's interstellar ambitions. "Run a verification sequence," Elena ordered. "Full spectrum analysis." The computer worked for several minutes while Elena and Haruto held their breath. Finally, the screen displayed. "Verification complete. 99.2% confidence. Signal source is Pathfinder 7. "I need to contact Director Chen immediately," Elena said, already initiating an emergency communication. Within an hour, the quiet observatory had transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Director Chen had assembled a response team, including the leading experts in deep space communications, astrobiology, and quantum physics. "The signal is definitely coming from Pathfinder 7, Elena explained to the assembled team. "But there's something strange about it. The transmission frequencies show patterns we didn't program." Dr. Marcus Wong, the quantum communications specialist, nodded. "The entanglement signatures are altered, enhanced somehow. The probe shouldn't be capable of transmitting from this distance, not with the technology we equipped it with." "Are we receiving any actual data?" asked Director Chen. "Yes," Elena replied, displaying a series of complex patterns on the main screen. "But it's not conforming to any Earth protocol. It's as if the probe's entire communication system has been repurposed." The implications hung heavy in the air. Someone, or something, had modified their probe. "I want round-the-clock monitoring," Director Chen ordered. "Every scrap of data analyzed. And not a word of this leaves the observatory until we know more." As the days passed, more data poured in from the returning probe. Elena barely slept, spending every waking hour deciphering the strange transmissions. The probe was sending massive amounts of information: star charts, gravitational maps, radiation readings, and complex mathematical sequences unlike anything in human scientific literature. "It's like receiving a library from another civilization," Elena told Director Chen during one briefing. "These mathematical concepts, they're centuries beyond our current understanding." A week after the initial detection, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Imani Okafor, a linguistics expert specially brought in from Earth, identified patterns within the seemingly random portions of the transmission. It's a language, she announced to the team. Or rather, instructions for understanding the language. I believe Pathfinder 7 is teaching us how to communicate. Using the probe's instructions, they began to decipher the actual message embedded within the technical data. The first translated segments sent chills through the observatory team. Humans of Earth, your prob hiskioverd, motivated to return. Warning of danger. Others know you exist now. Others. Director Chen's voice was barely above a whisper. It's confirming intelligent extraterrestrial life. The translation continued over the following days, revealing fragments of an incredible story. Pathfinder 7 had drifted far off course after its communications failure, eventually passing through an uncharted star system. There, it had been discovered by an advanced civilization who recognized it as an artificial construct from another intelligent species. According to this, Alina explained during an emergency United Nations briefing, now taking place daily via quantum link, these beings examined the probe's memory cores and learned about humanity. They were apparently fascinated by us, fascinated enough to send it back. Asked the UN Secretary General, why not come themselves? Dr. Okafor responded, the translation suggests they cannot. They write of the Great Barrier and those who hunt between stars. I believe they're warning us about another, possibly hostile species. More data continued to stream in as Pathfinder 7 approached the outer solar system. The probe was returning home at velocities that defied conventional physics, using propulsion technology humanity had never seen before. They've completely rebuilt its propulsion and communication systems, Dr. Wong explained. The technology is, well, it might as well be magic to us. They've maintained the original structure and memory cores, but enhanced everything else. The translated messages grew more urgent as the probe drew closer. Danger a pro-ishis. Empire of Hunters. CE case resources. CE case is CRVNTs. Destroy ED. This. Find the others like US, Unite, or Perish. The final piece of translated data included coordinates for 17 star systems, where other peaceful civilizations were supposedly hiding from the hunters. Along with this came detailed technical specifications for advanced defensive systems and faster-than-light communications. They're giving us a fighting chance, Alina realized. They found our probe, learned about us, and sent it back with everything they could to help us prepare. The world's governments responded with unprecedented unity. Within 2 weeks of the initial signal detection, the United Nations had established the Interstellar Defense Initiative. Military forces worldwide were placed on high alert. Scientists worked around the clock to understand the alien technologies being transmitted. As Pathfinder 7 crossed Neptune's orbit, its final message began to transmit, the most detailed yet. It included images of the beings who had found the probe. Crystalline entities that appeared to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, their forms shifting and flowing in ways human eyes struggle to comprehend. They call themselves the Luminous, Dr. Okafor translated, a coalition of species hiding from the hunters. They've been watching for other intelligent life, hoping to find allies. But why us? Asked Director Chen. We're primitive compared to them. What could we possibly offer? The answer came in the final transmission, just as Pathfinder 7 reached the orbit of Mars. Humans, you Nikuk. Your mind is different. You imagine. You create. You adaptate. You feel deploy. Quality rare among STRs. Quality hunters fear. HELPUS. We will HELPU. Not alone anymore. Elena stared at the translation on her screen, understanding washing over her. They chose us because we're different, not despite our youth as a species, but because of it. We still possess something they've lost or never had. As Pathfinder 7 entered Earth orbit, humanity prepared to welcome their long-lost probe home, and with it, the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe. The stars had suddenly become much more crowded, filled with both wonders and terrors. Humanity would need to evolve quickly to face what was coming. Elena watched from the observatory as the retrieval mission captured the probe and began the journey back to Earth. Whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had been noticed by the cosmos, for better or worse, and they would need all their uniquely human qualities to survive what was coming. The revelation. The Pathfinder 7 probe floated in the center of a specially constructed containment chamber at the Global Space Agency headquarters in Geneva. Its once sleek metallic surface was now covered with intricate crystalline structures that seemed to shift and change even as scientists observed them. Parts of the original human design were still recognizable: the main sensor array, the communication dish, the NASA insignia. But the rest had been transformed by technology centuries beyond human understanding. Dr. Elena Rice pressed her hand against the reinforced observation glass, studying the alien modifications with a mixture of awe and apprehension. After 3 weeks of non-stop work translating the probe's messages, she had been flown to Geneva to join the international research team examining the physical craft. "Incredible, isn't it?" said Dr. Rajiv Patel, the lead engineer assigned to study the probe. "We've confirmed that these crystalline structures are some form of computational system, but they operate on principles we can barely comprehend. It's like comparing vacuum tubes to quantum computers." "Have you found anything dangerous?" Elena asked. "Weapons, tracking devices, anything that could compromise Earth's security?" "Nothing that we can identify as a weapon," Rajiv replied. "But there's something at the core, a device that's maintaining an active quantum state. We think it might be a quantum entanglement communicator," finished Elena. "They're still connected to it." "Exactly. Whatever beings modified our probe, they can still observe through it. They're watching us right now." The realization sent a chill down Elena's spine. Were the Luminous truly allies, or was this all an elaborate trap? The chamber door slid open, and Director Chen entered with General Maria Santos, the newly appointed head of the United Nations Interstellar Defense Initiative. "We're ready to attempt activation of the data core," Chen announced. "The Security Council has given approval." The team gathered around a heavily shielded computer system disconnected from all networks. If there was any risk of digital infiltration, they wanted it contained. Rajiv initialized the system, and the probe's original memory banks, now enhanced by alien technology, began to transfer their complete contents. The data that had been sent via transmission was just a fraction of what the probe contained. "My God," whispered Dr. Okafor as she studied the incoming information. "This is a complete encyclopedia of multiple civilizations. Historical records, technological schematics, biological data. They're giving us everything." "Or conditioning us," General Santos cautioned. "This could be the most sophisticated form of manipulation we've ever encountered." The data revealed a disturbing cosmic reality. According to the records, a species known as the Void Dominion had spent millennia conquering and absorbing other civilizations across one spiral arm of the galaxy. The Dominion consumed resources, enslaved populations, and assimilated useful technologies. They operated with ruthless efficiency, viewing all other life forms as either resources to be harvested or threats to be eliminated. "The Luminous are a coalition of refugee species," Elena explained during an emergency UN briefing the following day. "Survivors who escaped Dominion expansion. They'd been hiding in nebulae, asteroid fields, and other areas difficult to navigate, developing technologies to mask their presence." "And they believe these hunters are coming for us next?" asked the Secretary General. "Yes," Elena confirmed. "When they discovered our probe, they realized we had no idea what was out there. They tracked its origin and found Earth, a developed world that had begun reaching out into space without any defenses against the Dominion. They decided to warn us." "Why?" asked the Russian representative. "What benefit do they gain from helping us?" Dr. Wong stepped forward with another data analysis. According to their records, humans possess unusual cognitive and emotional patterns. Most advanced species in their coalition evolved toward pure logic and efficiency, losing certain creative and emotional capacities along the way. Humans maintain a balance they find fascinating. They also see potential in us, Alina added. The Dominion has weaknesses. They are predictable, hierarchical, and slow to adapt. Qualities that humans, historically, have been very good at exploiting. The detailed records showed the Dominion's systematic approach to conquest, first sending automated probes, then establishing observation posts, and finally launching overwhelming invasion forces. According to the Luminous data, the first Dominion probes would likely reach Earth's solar system within 7 years. 7 years to prepare for an interstellar war, General Santos said grimly, against an enemy centuries ahead of us technologically. Not exactly, Alina corrected. The Luminous have provided us with defensive technologies that could give us a fighting chance, if we can understand and implement them in time. The world's governments mobilized with unprecedented coordination. Old rivalries were set aside as humanity united against an external threat. The technological schematics from the Luminous were distributed to research centers worldwide, with each nation assigned different components to develop. 3 months after Pathfinder 7's return, a startling discovery was made within its crystalline modifications. It's some kind of communication device, Alina explained to the assembled world leaders. Not just the quantum entanglement system we already identified, but something designed specifically for direct human interface. What do you mean by direct interface? Asked the Secretary General. It responds to human thought patterns, Alina said. It's designed to connect a human mind directly with the Luminous collective. After extensive testing and ethical debates, a decision was made. Someone would need to make contact. As the person most familiar with the Luminous communication patterns, Alina volunteered. The procedure was set up in a secure facility. Alina lay on a medical bed surrounded by monitoring equipment as technicians carefully positioned the crystalline device near her head. Are you sure about this? Director Chen asked one final time. Alina nodded. We need answers only they can provide. I'm ready. The device activated, emitting a soft glow that enveloped Alina's head. Her consciousness expanded suddenly, catapulting beyond the confines of the room, beyond Earth, beyond the solar system. She found herself within a vast network of interconnected minds, the collective consciousness of the Luminous. Welcome, human, came the greeting, not in words, but in pure concepts that unfurled directly in her mind. We have waited long for this connection. Who are you? Alina projected her thoughts outward. Why choose us? Impressions flooded her consciousness, histories of civilizations rising and falling, the terror of Dominion conquest, the desperate flight of survivors, and finally, the discovery of humanity's probe. We study your vessel, the Luminous explained. Through it, we learned of your kind. You are young among stars, but your minds, they burn differently. The Luminous shared their observations of humanity, our art, our music, our literature, our capacity for lateral thinking and emotional connection. To these ancient beings, humans possessed a unique cognitive architecture that combined logical reasoning with intuitive leaps, emotional depth with analytical precision. The Dominion fears what it cannot predict. The Luminous continued. Your species evolves rapidly, adapts creatively. You imagine possibilities rather than calculating probabilities. This quality, this humanity, may be the weapon that turns the tide. Are we really so different? Alina wondered. In response, the Luminous shared something unexpected, the results of tests they had conducted on human cultural transmissions. When exposed to human art, music, and stories, members of various Luminous species experienced neural pattern disruptions and cognitive reorganization. Human creativity literally rewired their brains, reawakening dormant emotional and intuitive capacities that had been bred out of their species over millennia of evolution. You restore what was lost, they explained. You remind us how to dream. The final revelation came in a series of vivid impressions. Earth was not the first world where intelligent life had evolved with this particular cognitive architecture. There had been others, all systematically destroyed by the Dominion. Not because they were threats, but because they were catalysts, species that inspired change, unpredictability, and revolution within the rigid Dominion hierarchy. The Dominion calls your kind disorder bringers, the Luminous explained. We call you awakeners. We modified your probe not only to warn you, but to begin an alliance. We offer technology. You offer possibility. When Elena regained consciousness hours later, tears streamed down her face. She struggled to articulate the vastness of what she had experienced. But one thing was clear. Humanity was not alone, and their uniquely human qualities, their creativity, adaptability, and emotional depth, were their greatest assets in the coming storm. In the months that followed, more communication devices were constructed, allowing regular contact between human representatives and the Luminous Coalition. Technical knowledge flowed to Earth, accelerating human development by centuries within a matter of years. In return, humanity shared its creative works, its art, music, literature, and philosophy, which sparked a renaissance among the luminous species, reawakening capacities long dormant. 5 years after Pathfinder 7's return, Earth had been transformed. Orbital defense platforms incorporated luminous shielding technology. The first human ships capable of faster-than-light travel prepared for their maiden voyages. Underground shelters capable of housing millions were constructed on every continent. Humanity prepared for war while hoping for peace. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. Humans had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they knew they were not only not alone, but that their unique qualities, the very essence of their humanity, was precisely what made them valuable on the cosmic stage. On the 6th anniversary of the probe's return, Elena stood at the observatory where it had all begun, gazing at the stars with new understanding. A message from the Luminous Collective displayed on her personal communication device. The first Dominion scout ships have altered course. They are coming sooner than we predicted. But we no longer hide in fear. With humanity awakened to the stars, we prepare to stand together. Elena smiled up at the night sky, no longer seeing just distant points of light, but a galaxy teeming with allies and enemies, challenges, and possibilities. They'd been watching us all along, she whispered to the stars. Now it's our turn to show them what humanity is truly capable of.